fascinates me most is just the sheer combinations that you can come up with words. Like, you can make words and language do anything. You can really drill down and find like the absolute most perfect word to express exactly what you want to say. And you can do the same thing with a sentence, and then you can do the same thing with a paragraph and a poem.
I took an English course, and the professor who was teaching it was like very into experimental writing. But I was super intrigued, and I made a switch kind of 2 years later into my junior year. And then I found out that MFAs were a thing, that you could go and spend a few years just dedicated to writing.
I've apparently always been interested in just making stories, but where the writing component really comes in was when I started doing a lot of journaling when I was overseas. So during my time in Iraq and Afghanistan, I kept extensive notes about what I was doing and involved with, and what I saw and felt, and what things smelled like and tasted like. And it wasn't until after I got home, when I had these, journals that I would kind of flip back through, that I felt like I wanted to do something with that information.
The big thing that has continued to come up in my work, even when I'm not thinking about it or even as I'm trying to avoid it, is always some sort of illegibility. I think of it like residue, like my poems are always kind of taking from other things and then moving into becoming something else.
Having other people coming from a experimental poetry section, which I didn't even know was a thing until I got to this class, and then also Filipino mythology and folklore, and having that brought in, and then people who show up who are brilliant poets, but they use more like sound poetry, how the words sound and feel in your mouth as opposed to how they look on the page. Experiencing all of these different artistic approaches was phenomenal. It was absolutely worth every second I could spend in class to learn.
The thing that I loved about coming here and what I did through my program was that I was able to work in different mediums where poetry doesn't have to just sit on paper. It doesn't have to be in these clean stanzas or anything. You can explore within the space of the page. You can do a performance, and all of those things are accepted as forms of poetry or forms of writing. I think I've had this style of being very sparse on the page for years and years now, but I think how I feel about it transformed, being okay with its incompleteness, and kind of becoming more okay with the fact that maybe the idea of it is more interesting than the execution, and that's okay.
Reading and writing have always been a big part of my life, but being able to finally focus that and express it through information that I learned in this program was amazing.